My wife cheated on me with her boss, stole $150, $0 from our joint account, and now she's trying to claim the house worth $350, $0. I feel like I'm losing everything. Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. Honestly, it feels like I'm living some twisted nightmare I can't wake up from. The craziest part, I caught my wife cheating on me with her boss, someone I thought was just a harmless, ambitious guy named Mark. But what really floored me was the fact that she's been stealing money from us too, around $150, $0 gone from our joint account. And now she's trying to claim the house worth over $350, $0 as hers. I mean, how much more can I lose? It's like I'm watching my entire life crumble in front of my eyes, and I can't do a damn thing about it. I met when I was fresh out of college, just starting my career. She was beautiful, confident, and seemed like she knew exactly what she wanted until she didn't. Our relationship was smooth for a while, but over the last year, I started noticing little things that didn't sit right. She'd be secretive about her phone, hiding her texts, and she'd get defensive when I asked about her whereabouts. She'd brush it off with some bullshit excuse like she was just busy or stressed. I didn't want to believe it at first. Maybe I was just overthinking it. Then about 3 months ago, I started noticing strange charges on our bank statement. Small things at first, dinners, shopping sprees, nothing out of the ordinary. But then I saw a $20, $0 withdrawal and my stomach dropped. That's when I started digging deeper. I pulled up her phone records, her emails, and I found a trail that led me straight to her boss, Mark. They'd been texting late at night, sometimes even during work hours. The messages weren't just friendly, they were full of flirtation, suggestive comments, and plans to meet up outside of work. I saw explicit texts, pictures, everything. It was like watching her turn into someone I didn't even recognize. I confronted her about the texts first. I remember sitting her down in the living room trying to keep my voice steady. I showed her the messages, the dates, the times. Her face went pale, but she immediately started denying everything. "It's nothing," she said, with that bitchy smirk she always puts on when she's lying. "You're just paranoid. Maybe I was talking to a friend, you're overreacting." But I wasn't stupid. I knew better. The way she avoided eye contact, the way she tried to change the subject, it all screamed guilt. That night, I decided I needed to look into our finances more closely. I had access to our joint account online, so I started going through the transactions line by line. And what I found made my blood boil. Over the past 6 months, she'd siphoned off about $150, $0, money that was supposed to be for our future, our kids, our retirement. Instead, she'd been funneling it into some secret account, maybe for her and Mark, or just to fund some lifestyle I didn't even know about. She lied about where the money was going, kept telling me she was saving for something special. Yeah. Right, the worst part. I discovered that she'd been planning to take the house. She's been pushing for a quick sale, claiming she needs her independence, that she's not happy. But I know she's been sleeping with Mark, and I'm pretty sure she's trying to cut me out completely. That house was our biggest investment, our main asset. Now she's trying to claim it as hers, saying she's entitled because she's been living there longer. It's like she's trying to rewrite the story to make herself the victim, to justify everything she's done. Honestly, I felt like I was punched in the gut. I never thought was capable of this kind of betrayal. She's always acted like she was the smart, ambitious one, yet she's been sneaking around, stealing, lying, and now she's trying to take everything I worked for. It's not just about the money or the house, it's about trust, or what was left of it. I feel like I've been hit by a freight train and I'm just standing in the wreckage trying to breathe. I don't even know what to do next, but I do know one thing. I can't stay silent anymore. After I uncovered everything, I felt like I was walking around in a fog. My mind was racing, trying to process how the woman I loved and trusted could be so completely different behind my back. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her texting Mark, heard the lies she told me, and felt the betrayal like a punch to the stomach. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I let it get this far. But the truth was staring me in the face, and I knew I had to confront her again, this time with everything on the table. The next day, I arranged to meet her in our favorite coffee shop. I wanted her to see that I wasn't going to be played anymore. When she arrived, she looked annoyed, like I was bothering her. She was dressed to impress, as always, with that bitchy smirk that I'd come to hate. I didn't waste time. I pulled out the printed bank statements, the texts, the emails, and laid everything out in front of her. Her eyes widened when she saw the evidence, but she quickly recovered her composure. "You're crazy," she snapped, crossing her arms. "All of this is just a misunderstanding. You're overreacting. Mark and I are just friends, and the money, I was just trying to get us out of debt. You don't understand how stressful things have been for me." Her voice was high-pitched, almost desperate, but there was a venomous edge to it. I could see the lies trying to come out, but I wasn't buying any of it. "Stop lying," I said, voice cold. "I know about the affair. You've been screwing Mark for months. And the money, you stole it from us. That's why I found the transactions. That's why I saw your texts. You're trying to cover your ass now, but I'm done being gullible." I could feel my anger bubbling over, but I kept my voice steady. "You're not just a cheating wife, you're a thief and a liar, and I want you out of my life." Her face twisted with rage. "You don't get to tell me what to do. I'm entitled to that house. I've been living here longer than you, and I deserve it. You're just some guy who doesn't appreciate what I do for us." She was trying to spin it to make herself the victim, but I saw right through her. She's always been good at lying, but I was done falling for her bullshit. That confrontation was a turning point. I realized I couldn't stay with her anymore, not after everything I'd uncovered. The betrayal cut deep, and it was clear she had no intention of stopping her lies or her schemes. I felt a strange mixture of heartbreak, anger, and relief. Heartbreak because I'd lost the woman I thought I knew, anger because she'd stolen from us and lied to my face, and relief because I finally saw her true colors. I knew I had to take action now before she could do any more damage. The emotional toll was overwhelming. I'd spent years building a life with, sharing hopes and dreams, planning a future. And now that future was crumbling in front of me. I couldn't trust her anymore, not even a little bit. Every memory we'd made felt tainted, and I wondered how I'd ever look at her the same way again. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and furious. Furious at her for thinking she could get away with everything, furious at myself for not seeing the signs sooner. But I also knew I couldn't just let her walk away with everything intact. If she thought she could take my house, my money, and my life without consequences, she was dead wrong. In the days that followed, I started making plans. I knew I had to protect what was mine, my house, my money, my sanity. I reached out to a lawyer to understand my options. I also started collecting more evidence, screenshots, bank statements, everything that could prove her dishonesty. I wasn't going to let her manipulate the situation or spin some sob story to make herself the victim. I was determined to fight for what was rightfully mine and to make sure she couldn't screw me over any further. The shock of the betrayal was still fresh, but I was gradually shifting into a mode of cold calculation. I knew this wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my life and dignity. But I also knew that this was only the beginning. Had crossed a line, and I had to be prepared for whatever came next, whether that meant fighting in court, confronting her family, or just walking away and starting over. One thing was clear. I wasn't going to let her destroy me, not without a fight. After I gathered enough evidence, I knew I had to act fast. Was still playing her little game, trying to act innocent whenever I brought up the truth, but I wasn't falling for her lies anymore. I started by hearing a lawyer, someone who specialized in property and divorce cases. I needed to protect my assets and make sure she couldn't just walk away with the house or the money she stole. It was clear she was planning to make a move to claim the house, probably thinking I wouldn't fight back. Well, I was ready to fight. Meanwhile, kept up her act. She'd throw tantrums, call me paranoid, accuse me of trying to control her. She had this way of turning things around, making herself look like the victim, even though I had all the proof. She'd say, You're just jealous because I'm successful and you're not. She'd even lie about her relationship with Mark, claiming they were just friends, even though I had the explicit texts and pictures. She was good at spinning her web of lies, but I was done falling for it. One night she came home late, smelling of perfume I didn't recognize and with that fake innocent look on her face. I was sitting in the living room waiting for her, feeling like I was about to explode. She tried to brush past me, acting like everything was normal, but I stopped her cold. "We need to talk," I said, voice steady but firm. "I know what you've been doing. I know about Mark, the money, everything. And I'm not going to let you lie your way out of this anymore." Her face flickered with panic for a second, then she switched back to that bitchy smirk. "Oh, come on," she said, rolling her eyes. "You're just being paranoid. You always jump to conclusions. You're accusing me of all this just because you're insecure." She was trying to deflect, to make me doubt my own discovery. But I had enough. I pulled out my phone and showed her the bank transactions, the texts, the emails. Her eyes darted around nervously. "You think I'm stupid?" I asked. "I've been watching everything. You've been stealing from us, lying to my face and trying to take the house away from me. I've had enough of your bullshit." I could feel the anger boiling over, but I kept my voice controlled. "You're a liar and I want you out of my house." She snapped back. "You're just jealous because I'm more successful than you. You're nothing without me. You're too weak to handle the truth." Her words cut deep, but I refused to let her see how much she was hurting me. I told her I was done, that I was filing for divorce and taking legal action to protect my assets. I knew she'd fight me tooth and nail, but I was prepared. Over the next few days, I started the legal process. I contacted my lawyer, who advised me to freeze all joint accounts and to prepare for a fight over the house. I also hired a private investigator to get more evidence of her relationship with Mark, just in case she tried to claim she was entitled to the house because she'd been living there longer. I had to cover all my bases. Meanwhile, continued to spin her lies, trying to manipulate the situation. She'd call me names, accuse me of being a terrible husband, and insist that she deserved everything because she was the one who kept this family afloat. She claimed I was just jealous and insecure, even though I had concrete proof of her betrayal. But I refused to be swayed. I knew the truth, and I was determined to fight for what was rightfully mine. One thing I realized during this whole mess is how much I'd trusted her, how much I'd believed in us. But her actions proved she was capable of anything, even stealing from me and lying to my face. I felt a mix of heartbreak and anger. Heartbreak because I'd lost the woman I thought I knew, and anger because she'd betrayed everything we built together. I kept telling myself I'd get through this, that I'd come out stronger. But honestly, I was scared. Scared of losing everything. The house, my savings, even my own sanity. I also started thinking about the future. I knew I'd have to rebuild my life from scratch. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about reclaiming my dignity, my respect. I didn't want to be that guy who let a cheating wife walk all over him. No, I was going to stand tall, fight back, and make sure she couldn't ruin me. I had to protect what was mine, and I was prepared to do whatever it took. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about survival. The legal battle was from the start. Was doing everything she could to drag things out, playing the victim, crying, shouting accusations about how I was ruining her life. She claimed she deserved the house because she'd been living there longer, even though I had proof she'd been secretly funneling money and planning to leave me high and dry. She insisted she was entitled to every penny she'd stolen, and that I was just some jealous, insecure husband trying to control her. Her words were venomous, and every time she opened her mouth, I felt that familiar surge of anger boiling inside me. I hired a lawyer who specialized in property disputes and financial fraud. We prepared to fight her over the house, the stolen money, and her attempt to claim everything as her own. I had bank statements, emails, texts, and even witness testimonies from some of her colleagues who confirmed she'd been having an affair with Mark. It was a mess, but I knew I had a case. The hardest part was seeing her try to manipulate the court, spinning stories about how she deserved a fresh start, and how I was trying to control her like some kind of monster. She played the victim card so well, I almost believed her for a second, until I remembered the mountain of evidence against her. One day, she showed up at my place unexpectedly with her bags packed and that fake innocent look on her face. She said she was leaving because she needed space and wanted to think things over. But I knew better. I told her she wasn't going anywhere until we sorted out the mess she created. I reminded her I had all the evidence, and I wasn't about to let her walk away scot-free. Her eyes flickered with panic, but she quickly regained her composure, trying to act like she was the one in control. That night I sat alone in my living room, staring at the documents and the photos I'd collected. I felt exhausted, drained, but also oddly resolved. I wasn't going to let her destroy what little stability I had left. I started planning my next move, knowing she'd do everything to undermine me to make me look like the bad guy. I needed to be prepared for her next move, whatever it was. Meanwhile, continued her act, pretending she was the wronged wife, the victim of my supposed jealousy and insecurity. She'd call me names, accuse me of being controlling, and claim that I was just jealous because she was more successful. But I knew the truth. She was the one who betrayed me, cheating, stealing, lying, and I refused to let her manipulate the situation any longer. I took a step back and focused on gathering even more evidence, making sure I had everything I needed to win in court. The emotional toll was brutal. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and angry, so much anger I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I'd trusted her with everything, and she'd thrown it all away for some guy, for money, for some fantasy of independence she clearly thought she deserved. It made me question everything I believed about our marriage, about trust, about love. But at the same time, I knew I had to stay strong. I had to be the one to come out on top, to protect what was mine. That house, that money, my dignity, those were the things I had left, and I wasn't going to let her take them without a fight. As the days went on, I felt a strange mix of relief and dread. Relief because I finally saw her true colors, and dread because I knew this fight wasn't over yet. I'd have to go through court hearings, confront her lies head-on, and make sure she paid for what she'd done. I couldn't just sit back and let her walk away with everything. No, I had to stand my ground, even if it meant losing sleep and risking everything I'd worked for. Because at the end of the day, I knew the truth, and that was what mattered most. I was determined to come out of this stronger, even if it meant facing some harsh realities along the way. The court date finally arrived after weeks of back and forth, legal filings, and endless sleepless nights. I was nervous but determined. I knew would come prepared with her lies, her manipulations, trying to paint herself as the wronged wife who deserved everything she was claiming. But I also had my evidence: bank statements showing the stolen money, the texts with Mark, witnesses who confirmed her affair, and my lawyer's airtight case. I was ready to fight tooth and nail. When we sat in the courtroom was her usual bitchy self, trying to look innocent and hurt, throwing in her usual sob stories about how she just wanted a fresh start and didn't mean to hurt anyone. I kept my eyes on her, feeling a mix of disgust and resolve. My lawyer presented everything: proof of her theft, the affair, her attempts to claim the house. It was brutal. The judge listened carefully, flipping through documents, asking questions. I felt a strange sense of relief when I saw her squirm under the weight of the evidence. The most intense moment came when the judge asked directly about the stolen money and her relationship with Mark. She tried to deny everything at first, but then her face twitched and she started stammering. She claimed she was just trying to protect herself, that Mark was just a friend, and that I was trying to control her out of jealousy. But her words didn't hold up against the hard facts. The judge looked at her and said, "Miss, your actions have shown a pattern of deceit and betrayal. This court will consider all the evidence before making a ruling." After hours of deliberation, the judge made the decision. She awarded me full custody of the house, ruling that had no legal claim to it, especially given her theft and affair. The judge also ordered to repay the stolen $150, $0, and she was barred from making any claims to the property or money. His face turned pale when she heard the verdict. She tried to argue, to spin her lies, but it was clear she had lost. She realized she'd gone too far this time. Walking out of the courtroom, I felt a strange mixture of relief and exhaustion. I'd won the battle, but I knew the war wasn't over. Was furious, and I could see her plotting her next move. She kept shouting at me outside court, calling me a bastard, a liar, and demanding that I pay for what I did. I didn't bother to respond. I just walked to my car, feeling a little lighter knowing I'd protected what was mine. In the days that followed, I focused on rebuilding my life. I closed the joint account, transferred the stolen money back into my name, and started the process of selling the house. I also cut all contact with. I knew she'd try to come back, to manipulate me again, but I wasn't falling for it. I realized that trusting her was a mistake from the start, and now I had to pick up the pieces of what she shattered. What struck me most was how much I'd underestimated her. She'd been so bitchy, so manipulative, and so willing to lie and steal to get what she wanted. It hurt to think about all the years I'd spent building a life with her, only to find out she was capable of so much deceit. But at the same time, I felt a strange sense of clarity. This whole nightmare had opened my eyes. I saw her for who she really was, and I knew I'd never let someone like her control or hurt me again. Now I'm starting over. It's not easy, and I still have moments where I feel the sting of betrayal, but I know I'm better off without her. I've learned that sometimes you have to fight to protect what's yours, even if it means going through hell first. I don't regret exposing her lies and fighting for what's rightfully mine. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that no matter how bitchy or manipulative someone might be, truth and integrity will always come out in the end. And I'll be damned if I let anyone take that away from me again. Now that it's all over, I find myself sitting here, trying to piece together what I've been through. Honestly, it's been one of the hardest experiences of my life, more than I expected, honestly. I thought we had something real. Turns out I was blind. She wasn't just cheating, she was stealing from us, plotting to take everything I worked for and lying through her teeth every step of the way. It's a brutal lesson in trust, or rather betrayal. I've lost a lot: money, a marriage, a sense of security, but I've gained something too: clarity. Looking back, I realize I should have seen the signs earlier. The secretive behavior, the late nights, the small lies that grew bigger over time. I was so caught up in our routine, in trying to keep everything perfect, that I missed the red flags. But now I see clearly. I see her for what she really was, the kind of person who would betray her vows and her integrity for some guy and some cash. That realization hurts, but it also frees me. I've learned that sometimes you have to fight to protect what's yours, even if it means going through hell first. I fought for my house, my money, my dignity, and I won. That court victory wasn't just about the legal stuff. It was about reclaiming myself, about proving that I won't be a victim of someone's lies and schemes. I've come out of this stronger, more aware, and more cautious. Trust is a fragile thing, and I know now that I can't just give it away blindly. As I sit here, I think about what's next. I don't know exactly where life will take me from here, but I do know I'm done with the past. I'll rebuild one step at a time. I'll focus on myself, on what really matters: my health, my future, my peace of mind. May have taken a lot from me, but she didn't take everything. She didn't take my strength, my resolve, or my ability to move forward. To anyone reading this who might find themselves in a similar situation, trust me, it's tough. It's gut-wrenching. But don't let betrayal define you. Stand up, fight for what's right, and never let someone's lies destroy your life. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's the only way to truly heal. I've learned that lesson the hard way, and I hope anyone else going through this can find the strength to do the same. I'll end by saying this: life goes on. It's not easy, and the scars may stay for a while, but time heals. Just don't forget who you are: strong, resilient, capable of overcoming anything. Because if I've learned anything from all this, it's that the human spirit is tougher than any betrayal. And no matter how dark things seem, there's always a way back into the light.